And then from here, I'm trying to threaten the single leg, and then I free my hips in.
That was a great takedown. I mean, the crowd went wild, so. Welcome to our very first episode of Diving Deep with our very special guest, the one and only ADCC and world champion, Ffion Davies. Thank you so much for being the first guest in this brand new series. So one of your most notable performances of your career was at the ADCC 2022 Championships, where you took your first gold in the event. The match that stood out most to us was your semifinals against Bia. Can you touch on your history with her?
Yes, so before this match, we'd fought twice before at ADCC. So my first year, I was a brown belt still, and she armbarred me in the first round. She was like the top seed, I was the very bottom seed as the winner of the European trials. And European trials are usually, I mean, I don't think it's the case anymore, but at the time, they were probably the weakest trials. So the champion usually gets the weakest trials winner. So she armbarred me very, very quickly during this. But then the following year, I fought her again. And I was a black belt, and I'd been competing a bit more. And I was able to get an armbar on her. So,
nice.
You know, I got it back eventually.
Right,
2 years on. Yeah.
That's awesome. So
what was the third time?
Like with that history that you just mentioned, what was your mindset or strategy going into this match?
I felt like confident considering the last time we fought, but it'd been a long time as well. You know, it's 2 years, it's a big chunk of time. People's games change.
Right.
But the way I felt was like, you know, I watched jiu-jitsu, I'm a fan of watching jiu-jitsu, and I felt like her game had stayed the same. Like I didn't feel like she'd changed her style so much. I was like, well, I still have that blueprint to work off of. And obviously I respect how good she is, and I was aware how dangerous she is from the closed guard, especially. But yeah, so I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I also watched my Bastos fight her in the fight previously. And we had a very similar game plan for Bia, but that sort of like reinstated that was the right way to go. Start with guard, start with upper body attacks. I knew that she would be quite wary of arm bars, especially. So I was trying to work the upper body, and then I'm very confident in my wrestling. And to me, from watching it, I felt like the only thing that was lacking was the fact was Maisa was so small. Right. So for her to wrestle up against someone almost 20 kilo, you know, what Bia cuts down to 60, like it's a significant weight difference between her and Maisa. So like she couldn't really wrestle up because the size difference was a bit too much. But I, you know, I'm much closer to Bia's size, and I'm confident in my wrestling. So that was sort of the tactic then, that I knew if we were on the feet, I'd be able to win those exchanges. And after like the 5-minute mark, if you pull, you're penalized. So I was like, okay, I forced myself to the feet, and then she has to stay standing or lose on a penalty.
That's a great strategy to have, especially, knowing Bia, she's definitely very well known for her closed guard.
Yeah.
So yeah, just going into that strategy and how your mindset was, I can already see like in that video, like just how confident you looked going into it. So that was something that we wanted to know about your strategy.
Yeah, no, I felt good going into it.
So I don't want to ask too many questions, so I just want to thank you for that insight. You know, I want to let you start the match and just take it away. Yeah. I'm sure all the audience just wants to see you break down this incredible match between
I'll try to describe what I was thinking, but a lot of times I forget what's going on. Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to do my bird thing now, I think. Okay, it skipped it, thank God. Okay. I do my slaps beforehand.
That's how you get pumped.
Okay, so my plan from the get-go was to pull guard. Because like on the feet, I knew that the last time we fought before this, she jumped close guard. So I just opted to sit straight away. And one of the benefits with ADCC is the fact that you can pull without connection to your partner. So there's no real risk of her jumping guard then. And yeah, I was trying to play a very similar game to what Maisa was doing. I was trying to go like keymaster and reverse De La Riva. And I was also wanting to threaten the wrestles ups without committing it too much. So there was opportunities, I think, to come up on the wrestle, but I wasn't going to be awarded points because the first 5 minutes, there's no points. So I didn't want to go too heavy on completing a sweep, where it's much harder to pass someone's guard than it is to sweep them. So I was trying to stay comfortable and pace myself throughout the match. So I was looking more for submissions as opposed to getting points, because there's no points in the first 5.
How was her pressure feeling like right there in that moment?
She feels strong for sure, but I did notice that she was after a while, at first she's engaging more, but then she starts to engage a little bit less. And I start to notice that she feels a little bit more hesitant, especially when I'm starting to go for like shoulder crunches a bit more, to sort of make her back away and make her consider more coming in too tight. But this is something that I notice, like most of the time I train with guys and they'll stand very tall. So I end up just like spinning around their ankles. With the girls, we tend to come a lot lower. And here she's like coming real aggressive.
She's definitely an aggressive competitor.
She's very, yeah. She's got she goes forward a lot, and that's something I really admire about Bea as well, is that she's someone she's fighting to submit you. She's not fighting to edge a victory or like just win by a point or an advantage, you know. Like she's also intelligent too, but she is trying to kill me. Yeah. Which I respect. But, I'm trying to play a lasso apparently there. That was weird. Interesting choice. Yes, I'm trying to angle to the far shoulder. So I like also using like collar ties as well to try and keep her upper body low so then I can get to the shoulder crunch easy. And then here is where I have, it wasn't deep, but I had a threat of something. With the heel hook, I wasn't too concerned because I don't think it's something that's like a huge part of her game. Not that she's not efficient there, but
she's not like a huge leg locker.
She's not known for her leg lock,
yeah.
So I was just sort of like trying to stay calm and not engage into like a leg lock exchange. And then from here, after that, I felt fairly confident this was the right strategy to go for then. And something as well, one of my training partners, Sam, he loves the shoulder crunch, and he put me in it about 900 times during the camp. So I was like, oh, I can actually know how to do this now because I know how it hurts. So after this attack, I felt like she was much more hesitant. Like she's staying back a lot further. She's staying in a lower body position. She's not coming forward so aggressively now.
Yeah, she was definitely feeling a little bit more intimidated, I'm sure.
No, I think it was more she was being more careful, which I think was smart. But I think this gave me the space to stand up with it then later on.
Okay.
So I just wanted her to want to back off a little bit more without like, otherwise it'd be like the threat of the arms. On the other side of her body, I'm trying to go for arm drags on that side. So on the left, or on my left, I'm trying to go for arm drags, and then on the far side, I'm trying to go for that shoulder crunch. And I'm like going between the two and just not focusing on sweeps at all. I'm just looking for submission at this point because there's still no points on the board. Like you can't get any points just yet. So yeah, there's a few opportunities here where I'm sort of threatening the wrestler, but not committing to it. Just because there'd be no benefit at this point.
Ffion tried to off-balance her for a wrestle up right there.
But then looking up. Some of the other commentary, I'm like,
You almost wonder too if Fion's waiting until points to actually start to go for the wrestle.
I'm just gonna scoot forward. At this point, I'm just like, okay, just look aggressive for the next minute, so that obviously if it goes to the judges' decisions later on, it's shown that I'm coming forward as well. I don't know why I'm trying to play Delahivo. That's just not a guard in Nogi. Other things I like from here is like snapping on the head, but I felt like she was too high up. Oh, I'm snapping a little bit there, but I like going for the clinch and trying to bring the head low. And I'm never really going to go for a guillotine, but I like to try and threaten it as well.
She wants Bea to move forward when Bea doesn't want to move forward.
Yeah, so now it's about 30 seconds until the points begin, and that's when I'm going to plan to wrestle up. So from here, I'm still looking at just maintaining guard. I'm not going so heavy on the attacks for the submissions. But I felt like those arm drags were a good tactic. They felt strong there for this. But then I'm feeling like now that it's getting close to the points, I feel like she's going to go for more of a flurry at that point, try and get points early, and then you can kind of back off a little bit more then as well. So she came back away for a little while, but now I feel like she's coming forward again. And then when it gets to the 5-minute mark, I just scoop my booty.
Yeah, I'm just scooting to her.
And then I came up, yeah. So now when I come to my feet, I tried to get the sweep there, missed out, but now I'm happy to be on my feet as well. So now she has to wrestle. If she pulls guard, if she jumps guard, she's going to lose a penalty. So at this point, I was happy that we ended up in that standing exchange. Even though I know she's pretty good at wrestling herself, she's very strong. But we've done so much wrestling in the camp that I was like, it's okay.
Plus you did judo, so.
Yeah, it doesn't really translate so well, Nogi. But it's definitely better than nothing.
Right, because the grips, yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely better than, you know, not having any stand-up.
Trying to get to that leg again is Davies. Oh, look at this! Big throw!
And then from here, I'm trying to threaten the single leg, and then I free my hips in.
That was a great takedown. I mean, the crowd went wild, so.
We're doing that. I was doing that a lot in camp, but I was trying not to do that grip around the head because it's so risky. But it paid off. I went for the tap on the knee to get her to move her hips to the side, and then I threw my hips in. And then straight away from here, I chased it to the back. In ADCC, you get points. You get 2 points for the body triangle, but right now my knee line is too far off to the side, so I have to get it across her hips. And she's doing a really good job of holding my knee in place. So right now there's no points still. So here she had a really strong upper body. She could like stay in this position really well. So right now I've got the seatbelt, but I'm going to transition my forearm across the back of her head to start to bow her head in, so I can at least get her to drop her weight back onto the mat. So yeah, here I'm pushing ahead. I'm trying to connect my hands over. So either threatening the neck or here where I'm trying to make space, because she's got like a nice tight grip on my leg, because she knows if my knee crosses, I'm gonna get points. So at this point, I'm just trying to loop my arms around her shoulder here. So I'm gonna try and pull her arm up and then bow her head. She's got such strong posture here, and then that causes the hips to twist. And now you can see my knee is further across, and I can bring it all the way to that far hip, and now it qualifies as points. Should do. The referee's telling me as well. He's like, now it's points.
He's communicating with you, yeah.
Yeah, which is nice because I wasn't sure. But I feel like they're much more vocal in ADCC with the competitors, letting you know what's going on, letting you know if you're near a penalty or whatever, or if you need to engage, which I like. But now I'm trying to switch my hooks from the body triangle to just regular traditional hooks, like 2 feet in the hips, because then you get additional points. And the way I was thinking, B is so good, we could end up in a scramble where I lose position, and I want to rack up as many points as possible, so it makes it harder for it to come back, because it's such a seasoned competitor. Even in these bad positions, you know, she could still work out of them and come back with a vengeance. So here, I'm trying to flatten her out. I like to flatten people out. I like to get their bellies to the mat. It just makes it much more comfortable to control. Whereas here right now, I feel like I'm too high up on the back for my comfort. I feel like I should either transition to the double unders here, but I think I'm just threatening the neck. But luckily she falls down, so it's not too bad. But I felt like I was maybe at risk of being thrown off the top because I'm a little bit too high up. And now I think it's nearing like the last couple of minutes. It says 45 minutes on the board behind me with Farrell and Costa. So, but it's not me. We're like on the other mat at this point. And now from here, I know I've racked up enough points. I'm just going to slowly work my foot out. I can feel, especially after pulling on the head for such a long period of time, that's very tiring for her to bear my weight, like ramming on her neck. So I'm just trying to peel her head away from her knees. She's doing a good job of squeezing my foot here, but I'm not panicking too much because I don't need to get the points. So I'm just trying to take her head with my cross face to pull her a little bit higher away from her knees, where she can join her knees to her elbow. And then bring that back foot up on top of her hips to sort of square them back up. Because right now her hips are turned a little bit too far away from me. But if I can get that foot up on her hip and peel it to the side, then I'll be able to get my points. But I don't remember if I actually got my foot out here. I don't think I do. Oh, maybe I am. Oh, I did. Yay. Good me. I don't know if that's still mount points in ADCC, though. She's a little bit too on her side. But yeah, basically from here, I hold on. Because I'm like, yeah, I won. But yeah, like such a cool match that like,
yeah, that was great to watch, especially your reaction after, it's like, it like, as a viewer, it like makes you like hyped up to see you so hyped up, like, no, that's awesome. I loved seeing this match.
Thank you. It was like very difficult to overcome mentally for sure, because Bia is very, very good.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that like is so good with her is that people are terrified to fight her, you know, like she's very intimidating.
Yes.
Because of her style. Her style is she's going to sub you. She's going to go for the kill. She's not going to like, you know, like some people like pull you into like positions and like 50-50 and they just go, oh, sweep, and they're very tactical, which, you know, is obviously, there's something to be said for that. But with Bia, she's definitely still tactical, but she's going for the submission. And I think that opens up opportunities for other people as well. So I think, you know, someone who is able to get such a high submission rate, because they're attacking, they're opening themselves up for that in the return.
Right.
I know myself. So I think that's something that like, gives opportunities as well, but I admire it a lot. And like she's someone I look up to a lot in the sport. So getting a win over her is very big for me because I respect her so much,
right.
And her accolades, and she's won everything, you know. But yeah, so mentally that's very hard to fight someone who you know is so accomplished and has so much experience, and they've been in these tight spots before and they've escaped. But yeah, also like a huge honor as well. It's really
yeah,
cool.
for sure. That was a huge win. And yeah, it's great to hear your strategy and just like your mindset going into it. Yeah. And yeah, I want to thank you for your time.
Oh, no worries.
Just doing this breakdown of this amazing match with Bia. It's one that I just love to watch all the time, you know, to inspire me. Oh, yeah. And before we let you go, we just want to ask you one fun fact about yourself.
Oh, God.
It could be anything.
I mean, the only thing I can think of that's a fun fact, but not very useful fact, is I speak Welsh. I'm from Wales, but Welsh is a language. You know, Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
The inspiration for Elfish in Lord of the Rings is actually heavily inspired by the Welsh language.
Oh, really?
So I am an elf. Basically. That is my fun fact.
Well, how do you say goodbye in Welsh?
Bye.
Hey, it's Deep Dive Jiu-Jitsu here. Hope you enjoyed this breakdown with Ffion. A huge thank you to her for giving us her valuable time to make this video happen. I'd like to shout out her instructional titled No-Gi Passing and Pins, available only on Jiu-Jitsu X. The link will be down below in the comment section and description. If you'd like to see more content like this, please let us know in the comments. Any feedback is appreciated, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya!